Hello, everyone. Mikey, Lovepreet, good to see you both. We'll wait a few seconds here for a few other people to trickle in. You still sipping on some coffee right now, Mikey? Or are you past coffee hour?
I try to cut things off around, depends on the day, 10 a.m. to noon, but after that it gets a little dicey.
Yeah,
How about
yeah.
yourself?
I'm in the same boat. I'm sipping bubbly water at this point of day, though I'm still dreaming about coffee.
I know sometimes I'll pull the trigger on an afternoon one, but sometimes I regret that soon after.
How about you, Lovepreet?
I'm just a water guy. No coffee, no nothing, just the water.
Good for you. Clean living.
I'm trying. I already got some weight here that I need to lose, so trying my best.
Well, this black coffee, it'll get the heart rate going. You can just burn calories sitting around.
Yeah, well, I got a treadmill that I run on, so I'll probably use that instead of coffee. No, they don't have any scientifically. They don't have any, I guess, problems with it. But give it 10, 20 more years, they're probably going to come up with something. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us today for the webinar, Do More for Less, Consolidate Vendors to Simplify IT Management. In this webinar, we'll explore how you can reduce costs and enhance security by consolidating your tool set. By the end of the webinar, you'll see how a unified platform can simplify your operations and boost your team's productivity. Before we dig directly into the meat here, a few details. Today's webinar is being recorded and a link will be sent out to all of you. Within the platform in front of you, you'll see some downloadable content. Feel free to explore the content in front of you, click download, and you can read it or peruse later at your convenience. If you have any questions as you're listening along today, please use the Q&A feature on the screen. You can ask a question at any time. We'll try to get to those questions at the end. If we don't have time at the end, we'll get a hold of you via email and answer your questions. We'll follow up with all of them. Lastly, we're giving away one $100 digital gift card after the event to one attendee today. Watch your email afterward to see if you're the winner. And with that, let's dig in. Presenting today, we have Mikey Apps, our Vice President of Sales at Recast Software. Welcome, Mikey. Happy to have you here. And secondly, we have Lovepreet Singh. He's a solutions engineer here at Recast with an extensive background in IT and endpoint management. Glad to have you here, Lovepreet. Thanks for joining us.
Glad to be here.
And with that, I'll hand it over to Mikey.
All right, thanks, Matt. And Lovepreet, that's a pretty intense photo you got there. That's no joke. Like Matt was saying, for those that don't know me, my name is Mikey Apps. I'm the VP of Sales here at Recast. I'll start with kind of a quick overview of our platform, the different products and packages we put together. Then, Lovepreet will dive into that demo. And at the end, there's something, I want to make sure we talk about, which is a special Q2 promotion we put together that aligns with Microsoft's end of fiscal, where if you do have a patching contract, we'll help buy it out. So we'll talk more about that. But really high level Recast, why do we exist? How do we think about the company? Really, it's simple, right? We want to be the leaders in application management and vulnerability defense, right? So what does that mean exactly? So when I'd say a security company, right? Very often a software security company, they help you out when your house is already on fire, right? What we are is we're like that smoke detector. We're the beep that's saying, hey, there's vulnerabilities here with your applications, with your devices, with your endpoints, your environment. And we give you the different tools to have visibility into those vulnerabilities, but also to action them, right? That's how we think about it. And that's how we support different IT departments. So really going from left to right at a very high level, right-click tools has really taken the market by storm. There's 15,000 different organizations using the right-click tools. And really what we say is if you're a sysadmin and you're managing, let's say over 250, 500 endpoints, and you're using ConfigMgr, you really should be using right-click tools. Otherwise, it's just extremely challenging to get both the visibility and the actions to manage all that. So that's really what right-click tools is. It does a variety of things to make that easier so you protect vulnerabilities and save a lot of time. So endpoint insights, that's our reporting piece. That's like having the world's greatest data analyst right in your company, right? Because everyone that works with ConfigMgr knows it's really difficult to get a lot of reporting out of it. Endpoint insights includes over 200 different reports, and they were actually made to not only pull data from ConfigMgr, but from a variety of different sources. So for instance, like if you want warranty reporting, we're able to pull that data for all of your devices. So you know, hey, what's under warranty? What is it? What needs to be replaced? And really stats show if a device is under warranty, it costs about $60 a year. If it's not under warranty, it's about $250. So right there, things like getting that visibility will save you guys a lot of time. Privilege manager. Well, the world of privilege is very tricky, right? And there's a lot of super robust software pieces out there that help manage privilege. But what we found is they're often super expensive and also really hard to implement and manage. Privilege manager, really straightforward tool. At your typical company, about 80 to 90% of people don't need to have extreme levels of access, local admin access. We make it really easy to give those that temporary elevation. So really great product that's growing rapidly. And then finally, our application manager is for patching third-party applications, but also managing and deploying them as well. It's really that whole application management lifecycle. What's super unique about us is as of the beginning of the year, we have the largest catalog of applications on the market by a good mile, and makes it really, really simple to automate third-party applications. Because what we found is either you have a manual process that's really hard to keep up with, really hard to manage, exposing a lot of vulnerabilities, or some of the pieces out there, they just don't have that big of a catalog or they're very expensive. We think we have the best catalog and the best product at the best price. So what we're seeing really in talking to our customers and just in the market at large, the number one thing that we're finding CIOs, CISOs, CTOs are thinking about is how do we consolidate vendors, right? So many companies have ended up with all these different software pieces and all these stacks. And the thing about that is all of a sudden you're dealing with all these different panes of glass, all these different suppliers, all these different contracts and features and changes. It can get really confusing and really expensive, right? So what the market is asking for is, hey, we want to consolidate. And going back to what we're talking about, if you're managing endpoints, you're managing vulnerabilities, you're managing third-party applications, we have this variety of products and tools that will allow you to meet those goals and needs all on one pane of glass. So how do we do that? It all falls under our Recast management server, something you'll hear a lot called RMS. So that gives you, right, one single platform, one centralized dashboard where you can view and manage all of our different products and all of your different endpoints and applications, right? So you're getting a ton of value here. You're able to function all in one place. You have one point of contact. And then with economies of scale, as you add up with our products, right, they get more and more efficient, or there's better and better promotions with the bundles. So that brings us to what we're calling the Essentials package. So the Essentials package is super, super straightforward to understand, thinking about what we've talked about. There's two different ones. There's the Essentials package. You see that on the left of your screen, and the Essentials Complete. The Essentials package, that includes right-click tools, endpoint insights, the reporting piece, an application manager for that third-party patching, and then just included for free if you do buy these bundles is premium 24/7 support. Essentials Complete, all of the above. The only difference is it includes Privilege Manager as well. So like what we're seeing and talking to our current customers, talking to people coming in the door, they want to consolidate. We can solve a lot of different problems for them, and we can do it at a great price. And very often there are solutions currently in-house that we can easily replace, support better, and loop it into one vendor. So that's ultimately what we're going for with the Essentials packages. So I'll hand it over to Lovepreet to dive into a demo of the products, and then we can talk about that Q2 promotion at the end. All right, Lovepreet, I'll hand it over to you.
Thank you very much, Mikey. Yay, it's my turn. All right. So The time is short, but I'm going to talk about all 4 products on a high-level overview, what they do, what's the goals that we're trying to achieve, and how they function. And I'm going to start with our flagship product, which is right-click tools. I'm assuming that most of the folks that are on the call today, they have some familiarity with right-click tools. Are you able to see my screen? Oh, okay. Sorry,
Yes.
let me see.
The demo slide. I don't know about you all.
Nope.
Okay. Okay,
Nope. We can see it. We can see it. We're good, Lefty.
Sorry, I stopped it. Let me start it again.
My bad.
No worries. All right. How about this? Are you able to see SCCM console?
Yes, we're good.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Yeah, so we're going to start with the right-click tools. And my assumption here is that most of the folks that are in call today, they have some familiarity with this product, right? At least with the community version, the free version that's out there, 80,000 users. So I'll talk about why this product exists and what are the major improvements in terms of functionality that you'll see when you come from a community version user to an enterprise version licensing. So the first and foremost is with the community version, you were able to do actions against one single computer, right? Or one single object. With the enterprise version, we're now going to be able to do actions against multiple computers at a time, multiple objects at a time. You could have a collection of thousands of computers and you could do right-click actions on that, right? The second major improvement that you'll see is access to these dashboards. Now, the way I think about this is that these are the dashboards that give us cybersecurity relevant information and then equip us with the tools to take action against that information live. I'll talk more about this in a second. Third functionality that is my personal favorite is the automation. And I could quickly show you how that looks like. If I go to automation, I get access to this guy, Recast Builder. And Recast Builder is our think of this as Lego pieces that we built back in the day to make the Recast tools function. Those Lego pieces are right here on the right side, 450 about them. That's about the count of them. And what you can do is you can drag and drop these Lego pieces in this canvas and build your own right-click tools. Build your own workflows. Now, I know some of you guys are probably going to be fans of PowerShell, which is great, but I think one of the biggest things is that knowledge transfer could be very hard, right, with PowerShell. So this could be an amazing replacement, easy to use. You built it once, and then you give it to whoever you need to. On the left side, you're going to get access to the templates that we're going to build for you. And you could do plus sign and build your own workflows here, which you can then use. And all of these workflows have logic in them. So for this, we can use this guy as an example. So here I'm saying, hey, check if the computer needs a restart. And if it does, then install my application. And this could be one single computer or thousands of them on a collection. We could also add PowerShell script blocks. So if you find that there's a specific action that we don't support, you can add PowerShell in there. Or you could set up emails here so that you could run this on a schedule and get an email every time that action is run. So that was the third major piece. And the last thing that I quickly wanted to show you was this, which Mikey was talking about earlier, Recast Management Server. This is also part of the right-click tools or any product that you go with. And the purpose of this is to give you a single pane of glass to manage and see everything Recast related. For right-click tools specifically, I think the most amazing things would be audit logs. So every one of us is trying to move towards that cybersecurity zero trust. We want to see logs. If I break something today, I want my manager to see and retrace my steps and see what I broke and then fix it. So that's one thing you can get from here. And the second thing, just to expand that piece, is permission sets. So right-click tool could be a very expansive tool. It has multiple functionalities, so many sections over there. Maybe it doesn't make sense for everybody to have access to all of those functionalities, right? So what we will do that if we have some help desk staff members, we could go ahead and edit permissions within that and be as granular as we can. And give them whatever they need to have access to and uncheck whatever they shouldn't have, right? And the last piece that I'll show you quickly for right-click tools is the statement that I made earlier, right? That we're going to equip you with the tools to take action against that information. For that, I'm going to use BitLocker section. So when I was a sysadmin at my last job, one of the questions that I would get from my auditors, the auditors that handle the cybersecurity insurance part, is, hey, how do you figure out what devices are not encrypted? How do you do the audit? And once you do the audit, how do you kind of remediate all of that? A simple answer would be I use right-click tools. I could go to this BitLocker compliance, pick a collection, hit scan against it. And then it's going to give me 2 pie charts. Right side talks about the devices and their compliance level. Hey, this is a CM BitLocker compliant. This is NBAM BitLocker compliant. And these are the devices that are not compliant at all because they're not encrypted. Okay, that's bad. What do I do with that? How about I select all of these devices, go to right-click on them, go to security tools, and I'm going to open remote Windows security. This is a live WMI pop-up. I'm going to go ahead and go to BitLocker, and I'm going to say, okay, you know what? Even if somehow these devices escape my GPO policies, they're not going to escape the live WMI. So let me pick this and hit encrypt. And then I could do encrypt, encrypt, encrypt. And then finally, this is going to encrypt the device, basically doing that audit for me, and then also remediating the stuff, the problems that I find in that audit, right? And that's just one piece of it. If you go to the left side, you can actually retrieve keys by just going to right-click tools and opening up this section here, AD BitLocker recovery key, and then you can grab the key as well. Now, we're not going to have time to go through all of these, but I just wanted to kind of give you a quick teaser, like how do we think? The thought process is give you information, and then you give me the tools to take action against that information live. All right. That being said, we can move on to the next product, which is Endpoint Insights. Mikey did introduce a little bit about this. This is our information gathering and reporting product. The logic here is that we're going to build reports, and we're going to collect the information that SCCM doesn't natively collect or doesn't natively have. And we do that by expanding and adding our own classes. So if I right-click on any of these devices and I go to Start, open Resource Explorer, expand the hierarchy class, you see these EI classes added here. So all of this data, we're going to use this data to build 220 reports that are not native to SCCM. And the great thing about those reports is that they all can be sitting on your SSRS or Power BI. So that means you have the ability to build subscriptions off of these. So let me show you one quick report that is my own personal favorite. So if I go here, this is my personal favorite report, software dashboard. So, I can go ahead and remove admin rights from people, thinking to myself that now these users will not be able to install anything. But I'm wrong, because what they can do is they can go to the internet and they can download Google Chrome setup, for example, and double click on it. And the moment it says, hey, do you have admin rights? And the user says no, it's going to say, oh yeah, that's fine. I'm going to install myself in the user context anyway. And now I have these softwares in my environment which are installed in user context. So there are 2 problems. First, I don't even know about them. I don't even know if there are products out there. Number 2, if I don't know if they're there, how can I patch them? If they have vulnerabilities, if they have 0 days, I would never know about them. Well, am I glad that I have Endpoint Insights with that? Then I'm going to go ahead, pick a collection, and I'm going to say, okay, show me my software that are installed in both computer and user context. Hit view report. And now I get this report in front of me that talks about publishers. And I can have this thought process where I could say, hey, I don't remember ever approving anything Amazon. Let me see what this is. Oh, it's Amazon Kindle. Yeah, that is not approved. Okay, so seems like there are 585 people, 85 devices that have this version installed. What if this version has vulnerability in it? I never knew about it. And then I can go ahead, do right-click tool actions on these computers, or I can expand into another report, and I can see all of the devices that are doing this violation, but version, architecture, resource. Now, if this device is doing one violation, it might be doing multiple. So let me expand into another report and go further into this and see all of the rest of the add and remove programs. Maybe there are other violations that this person is doing. Now, before I reach out to this user, let me see what else I can grab about this computer. So I'm going to click on this, expand into another report, right? And this is another report that talks about, hey, everything that we know about that device, we're going to give you in one single pane of glass. So the computer, the config information, warranty. This was something Mikey touched on. We have API with 120 vendors. So that means it doesn't matter if you're with Lenovo, HP, whoever, we can talk to those vendors and we can get the warranty data for you. We can let you know when the warranty started, when it ended, what type of warranty did you buy. and build multiple reports off of that. Monitor related information, add and remove programs again, disk related information, docking station even. You can see model manufacturer count of that. And there are many other reports. But the goal of these 3 reports or 4 reports that I've shown you is how would a sysadmin go through a thought process of an audit and how Endpoint Insights can guide you through it. They're all their own individual reports, but they're layered over each other based on a thought process, right? There's one other report I want to talk about before I move on, which is this one, device warranty. This is probably the most used report ever among our customers. You know, it's that time of the year, you need to get budget approved, management's asking for numbers. Okay, well, from the day 1 of the warranty, in my environment, we have 365 days for a laptop, you know, or maybe 1,095 days, whatever that may be. And then this is the average cost of the laptop. I'm going to pick a collection and hit view report. It's going to build this nice little report for me that talks about, hey, for this year, this is the numbers that I'm looking at. For next year, I need to plan for these many. Okay, well, that's not enough. I need more information. Okay, well, click on this one. And then you expand into another report and see when the warranty started, serial number, model, manufacturer, and you can see all of the users who are going to be affected by this IT refresh program, right? Then you can expand even further and get into another report that gives you even more details about that warranty and hardware-related information, right? All of these reports that I've been showing you, if I go to this view, all category reports, like we talked about this earlier, it's going to be inside your SSRS or Power BI, which you can go ahead and then build subscription off of these. You can also show this hidden folder and get access to all of these reports in one single pane of glass, in one single folder, all of these right here, right? So that was our Endpoint Insights. If you saw value in these 6 reports that I've shown you, I can only imagine how much value you'll see in the rest 200 and whatever left, right? But yeah, that's our Endpoint Insights. Okay, let's move on to the next product, which is the Application Manager product. Okay, what is it? Application Manager is our third-party patching solution, right? That's the official definition. But if you ask a sysadmin, if you ask me, I would define this a little bit differently, and Mikey did touch on this a little bit. I would call this a third-party lifecycle management solution. Why? Well, because it's going to use this dashboard and your SCCM or Intune in the backend to create, update, deploy, retire, and delete your applications. These are the 5 steps that us sysadmins have to take when we build applications manually. Using this product, I'm going to automate all 5 of them at once and build it as a set it and forget it solution. Okay, great. So I need to deploy something. You know, I want to build Google Chrome. Well, all I got to do is search in here in the catalog. And as you can see, if you look at the bottom right of the screen, as of this morning, we have 2,187 third-party applications. This is by far the largest catalog in the market. And it's growing by the rate of 30 apps per month. And we prioritize based on the customer feedback. You know, you can go to our feedback portal, request an app, and we can send you emails that, hey, this is the status, you know, that kind of stuff. So yeah, then I can go ahead and hit deploy on the application that I need to deploy. It's going to go ahead and build a workflow for me, a process for me. And that process is sort of like a template that's going to continuously run till the ends of time. You know, every time when there's a new versions coming, it's going to keep following that process. And those processes usually show up here in deployment process once I build them. To understand this a bit more, I can show you this one that I built a few days ago. So I'm going to go to View Details. And here I built a process for Notepad++ and Adobe Reader. And the logic states that the day 1 of the release of these products, I'm going to go ahead and deploy it to my test run collection immediately on the day 1 of the release. And then I'll put some delay, you know, maybe give some time, give time to these folks to test things out, right? Give them time to like maybe 4 days, 6 days, whatever. And then I'll go ahead and give it to my next collection, which in this example is full deployment. A better way to think of this could be Zoom, right? You can say, hey, I know from my experience that Zoom could be a little bit buggy with a new version. So how about I give Zoom to my IT staff collection on day 1 of the release, give them time to test things out, and then I'll give it to my sales staff collection once I know that it's ready to go. Because for sales staff, Zoom is like bread and butter. That's another way to think of this. And you can't have like just 2. You could have multiple, 6, 7, doesn't matter. Have as many collections as you want. And for any one of these rings, we can do further customization. So if I go to these three dots, go to Manage Settings, here I can do customization. If I need to send the application as required and forcefully install it, I choose this option, send it as available. Or I can have the application check the computer first, see if there's a previous version. If the answer is yes, then go out as required. If the answer is no, then just simply become available in the software center. That would be the best of both worlds. And then we can decide the user notifications and whatnot, if we want our users to see notifications. The other feedback that I get sometimes when I talk with SCCM admins is, hey, we really like the customization settings that SCCM natively offers. Keeping that feedback in mind, we have imported all of the SCCM native customization settings into our own product, giving you the same level of familiarity factor that you get with SCCM, same level of customization, but only in a better UI and in an automated fashion. So this is where you would, go through all of those customization settings that you're already familiar with inside SCCM. But if these weren't good enough, then we can do even more. So if I go to this cog wheel, I get access to even more customization settings. I can specify the naming convention that I want to follow, categories, whatever I have in my environment, descriptions, right? For every application that we can build for you inside SCCM, it will have silent switches and no restart switches pre-built, and as well as the detection logic. But if you want additional parameters for customization, you could do so right here. You want to have a customized log location, you could do that right here. You want to have a license key inside the name string, install string, you could have that. Whatever that vendor supports. This folder will host everything built by Recast in a clean hierarchy fashion. I'll talk more about this in a second. And then if you have multiple DPGs, those will get pulled up in here and you can decide what DPGs you want your product to get deployed at. If you need to close a certain process before this application can be installed, you can specify those right here, right? And then finally, estimated install time and runtime so that the application doesn't take too long. Now let me show you how it looks like inside SCCM. So we're going to use application model. Everything that we build is going to show up in here. And the logic that we follow is N being the latest version is going to be always active and deployed. N-1 will always be in a retired state, but it won't be deleted. It will still exist, which you can then roll back if you need to. And N-2 and below will always be in a deleted state. So there are 5 steps that we talked about earlier: creation, deployment, updating, retirement, and deletion. All 5 steps automated. So for example, we can look at this one. So this one is the latest version. This is active and deployed. Tomorrow when there's a new version, that one will become active and deployed. And this one will become retired. And then when 128 comes up, then it's going to have the last version deleted, and this one is going to be retired. Right? So this process is going to keep following and following again and again. So that's our application manager. I got 2 minutes, so I'm going to quickly cover Privilege Manager. I'm confident that I can cover it in 2 minutes. What is Privilege Manager? Well, Privilege Manager is the ability to escalate users temporarily. Do you want to have them give them self-escalation permissions? We can do that. Do you want them to come to you every time they do this? We can do that. So I have this setup file sitting on my computer. If I run this, I cannot run this because I'm not an admin. But I could go to more choices, go to Recast Privilege Manager, and pick local account or domain account to escalate this process. So local account would be using a service account that's going to be managed by us, and domain account would be my own account, which I can escalate to escalate this specific process. Okay, so let's see how this works. I'm going to say run with local account, application install, and now I have to give justification to my admin. Why am I escalating myself? Okay, well, I can say demo app install, right? And there you go. I'm able to escalate this process. The great thing is that unlike labs, everything else is still locked up. So if I go ahead and open command prompt, there you go. I can't run it. Why? Because I only gave justification for this specific process. So it's justification-based model. The last piece that I wanted to talk about was the use activation code method. So the domain account and local account are self-escalation methods. You want to trust people a little bit, so that they can escalate themselves, but they have to give justification. But then this is the zero trust. I don't trust anybody. People have to come to me and get an activation code. But there's another thing that's important about this one. This one is network independent. That means that if somebody is sitting in a different country, they don't have admin rights, and all of a sudden they can't connect to the internet, and they call you in and they're like, hey, I can't connect to the internet. What should I do? Well, you could use this activation code even without the internet to escalate device manager. Do some troubleshooting there. Without this tool, which you wouldn't be able to do it. Because if there's no internet, me as an IT guy cannot do remote in, I cannot do remote PowerShell, and I can't help that guy. But in this case, I can, right? And all of this privilege manager sits inside RMS, just like every other product that we have. So all of that logs that we talked about, you can see and manage everything right here. You could build self-escalation rules right here, and then you could build activation code using these buttons right here. But yeah, that is everything about Privilege Manager. Back to you, Mikey.
Awesome. Thank you, Lovepreet.
No problem.
Awesome. Yeah, no, Lovepreet, that was very impressive. A great overview of the platform in very short order. Of course, if anybody has any questions on it or at some point would want to dive deeper into a specific product, let us know. We're always happy to set one of those up. And if you have any questions, please put it in the chat and we'll make sure to follow up on it if we don't get to it today. So I know we're a little bit past 1:30 Central Time. So wanted to talk about wrapping things up, the Q2 Essentials Packages offer. So this is something that came down from our CFO that aligns with Microsoft's end of fiscal. So essentially those Essentials packages, right? We talked about two of them. One of them includes right-click tools, endpoint insights for the reporting, application manager for third-party patching and premium support, right? That's one. And then the complete package includes privilege manager as well. So those are the two options. What we have is if you purchase an Essentials package before the end of Q2, the end of Q2 being the end of June, we will help buy out the remaining amount of your current patching contract. Meaning, if you're using another software tool today to help you automate third-party patching, we can help you buy that out so you have time to replace that tool with ours and find a way to make it work from a budget perspective, right? And on top of that, if you buy the Essentials packages like we talked about, economies of scale, you're getting a more inexpensive account per product, and you're working with one vendor. So a lot of good things coming here with the Essentials package. You get all those products and we'll help buy out your contract. So if you're interested in more about what that looks like, follow up with us. We can connect with your account executive and talk about different options. All right, Matt, I'll hand it over to you.
Great. Thank you, Mikey. To Mikey's point here, if you would like to find out how much you could save through the Essentials package bundle and the contract buyout, this is a poll question here. You can click yes or no, thank you. I'll give you a few seconds to respond there. While you're doing that, if anybody has some additional Q&A questions, I see one in the queue right now at least. If you have any Q&A questions, I'll give you a few seconds to fill that out as well. Reminder, we'll try to hit them here. If not, we'll follow up with you via email with those questions.
Yeah, while we're waiting, I can actually answer that question. The answer is yes. We'll handle both EXE, MSI, any type. As long as the application is on catalog, we are responsible for building detection logic. So yes, the answer is yes.
Yeah, and to be clear, the question there was from Landon was, does it detect only MSI detection? He struggles with EXE detection methods. That was the question that came in for everybody else within Application Manager. Thank you, Lovepreet. Give you another 20 seconds or so to respond. I see got a good chunk of people who've responded, waiting on a few others.
You know, Lovepreet, while we wait, knowing you were a sysadmin at some point, would you have loved to have the Essentials packages? What would that have done for your day-to-day life?
Absolutely. I mean, let me tell you, Mikey, when I was new in the IT world, and when I look at the SCCM console and I look at all these shiny buttons, I'm like, oh my God, what is this? I'm gonna have to go through all of this. And for so much of the functionality, it exists in different places where I have to go through many loopholes. If I need to grab my labs password, well, go to a different dashboard. I need to get my key, go to a different dashboard. Here, with right-click tools, I could have done everything by myself. And the second biggest product that I'm a very big fan of is the application manager. If there's an organization that manages, well, managers or not managers, but let's just say you have 500 applications in the environment, I see them as 500 opportunities. Well, opportunity is a funny word to use here, but 500 opportunities to get 0 days, 500 opportunities to get vulnerabilities, right? And we don't have enough resources to scour the internet, look at all those vendors, and see when they release the new version. You know what I mean? That's why we need Application Manager to automate all of that process for us.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love that.
All right. We have hit the one Q&A question that came in. So with that, I just want to say thank you all for attending. Reminder, watch your inboxes. We'll be emailing the one gift card winner shortly. We'll also be sending out a copy of this recording in case anybody wants to scan through the recording and look at a few of the any moments throughout this or the rewatch Lovepreet's demo today. And with that, thank you all and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks, everyone.